everyone, it's Autumn, and today I wanted to talk about my yearly favorites for the year 2020. I know we are technically already a month into 2021, and usually people do their favorites videos as soon as the year starts. But for whatever reason this year, it did not feel like the year started until after the inauguration. I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like January was just actually the 13th month of 2020. But now that the month is almost over, I feel safe to go ahead and do my favorites for 2020. It was a rough year. I'm not gonna get political in this video. I just think it's best to not do that. But what I will say is I am feeling much better after the inauguration. All right, so you may have noticed this year I did change the name of my channel, and it didn't really make much of a difference because my channel was Autumnmore08 before, and again that didn't really say much about my channel, and before it was more of just a regular beauty channel anyway. But by changing it to Average Autumn, I felt like it said a little bit more about my channel and kind of what I represent and what I stand for. And pretty much I'm just the average consumer, the average woman, the average anything, you know. And with that being said, I strive to review products and different things from the perspective of just the average person. So I just want to go ahead and jump in and tell you what my favorite things were for the year and why they were my favorite things. I'm going to start off with my non-makeup favorites. And if you're interested in the makeup stuff, I will try to put a timestamp in the comment section below this video if you're just interested in makeup stuff. But if you're somebody who comes to this channel and you're not really into makeup, maybe the rest of the stuff will apply to you. So the first thing that I want to talk about is my bicycle that I bought. So I didn't want to get a super cheap bicycle, but I also didn't want to invest and get a really, really expensive one and then end up just letting it sit there. I wanted to see how I felt about it. And I really lucked out when I went to the bike shop. So as many of you know, if you try to get into cycling this year, going into the bike shops and trying to get a bike was really hard. I had done a little bit of research online and decided that I did want to get a Trek bike. And then when I went to my bike shop that is in Montrose, which isn't too far from me, it's called Eddie's Bike Shop. They have a couple of locations. But when I went there, it turns out that I would be put on a waiting list through Trek for the bicycle that I wanted, and I wasn't going to get my bike until October of 2020. And I had gone in around, I think, February or March, and that was going to be over a 6-month wait, and that was way too long. But they did let me know that somebody had ahead of time ordered 2 bicycles and they ended up not wanting them. So I looked at the bikes and I did a little bit of research online, and my husband was there with me. And so we just actually ended up buying both of them. So we got matching bicycles, which is really cute, but we got them and we absolutely love them. We got the Trek Marlin bikes, and I ended up biking almost every single day during the summer. We did some family bike rides and I did some bike rides off on my own, and I usually averaged about 30 miles a day on my bike. We did customize our bikes a little bit so that we could tell the difference between them. I put some special pedals on my bike so I could use my clip-in shoes that I had. I am a cycling instructor and for indoor cycling, so I wanted to put those clip-ins so that I could use them, and it worked really great for me. So I just used my shoes that I already had. The pedals were really easy to install, and it was great. Like, I absolutely loved it. Highly recommend. My husband put a little rack on the back of his bike so that he could carry some gear and things like that when we went on family bike trips. So then also along the same vein as like outdoor sports, because obviously gyms were either closed or you didn't want to go in and risk getting sick, we did purchase kayaks actually before all of this had started, but then we also ended up buying our daughter a kayak like ours. I think we got our kayaks right before this all started, and then it was like nearly impossible to purchase kayaks once this happened. but we did end up finding her one as well. And we have, I believe it's Perception kayaks, if I'm not mistaken. So my husband has the kind that you sit on top of, and then my daughters and mine are the kind you sit inside of. I'll have pictures of our kayaks and some of our activities and things like that on the screen, but we really enjoyed that a lot this summer as well. We went all over the place, pretty much any body of water that we could find near us that wasn't too dangerous. We loaded the kayaks up onto our Jeep, and we went and we would enjoy it. We got really good at putting the kayaks on the Jeep and taking them off, and I'm really excited again to continue doing that once the weather gets a little bit nicer. So with the whole outdoor sport situation going on between those two things, I wanted to talk about these sunglasses. And I saw, and I can't remember if it was either on Facebook or Instagram. I'm like 99% sure it was on Instagram, but this sunglass brand called Humps. And here's the thing. I wasn't 100% sure that I would like them, because usually I feel like everything, all these ads that you see on Facebook and Instagram are kind of like scammy, and you're gonna get the stuff and they're not as good. And sometimes the stuff is like, the prices are super inflated and all that stuff. But I got them, and so they were $30 a pair. And one of the main reasons I wanted them was, so this pair, they're really plain, I'll put them on, but I could wear them in my Army uniform. So the Army is very specific about the types of sunglasses you can wear. You can't wear ones that look like this that have the reflective lenses. They have to be pretty much plain sunglasses. There's very few types of sunglasses you could wear. And a lot of times the ones that they allow you to wear are very dorky looking, but I actually didn't mind the way these looked. I thought they were very simple, but stylish at the same time. The cool thing about these, they're also polarized, and they, if you sit on them, anything like that, they're very durable. And so I got this pair, and then I also got this pair, which is, you know, got the reflective thing on them. They don't have, I'll have like everything linked and stuff below, but they do have particular types. I'm pretty sure this one's called the Agent, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, we ended up liking this pair so much that my husband also ended up wearing mine a lot. And so I've actually purchased, I think, 4 pair of these now, and we keep them in all the vehicles, and I've biked in them, I've kayaked in them, I keep them with my Army stuff. These are just really good to just keep and wear for pretty much anything that you're doing. All right, so now I want to talk about food and drink. The first thing I want to talk about is coffee. There are 2 types of coffee that I've really enjoyed throughout the year, and the first thing has actually been from Aldi, and it's their donut store blend coffee. So I have a Ninja coffee maker system or whatever, and I make this. It's great for hot coffee. My husband loves it. And also this is really great for iced coffee. So I make iced coffee almost every single morning. And this has just been really great. It's a light roast. I usually prefer a light roast. And so I usually take that along with this, which is a Premier protein shake. And these again have 30 grams of protein in it. And instead of using coffee creamer, I will mix my iced coffee along with this. And it's 160 calories, and then that's usually what I have for breakfast. And it gets me through lunch. It's great. So I've really been enjoying that. Also, Starbucks came out with a new type of coffee that has turmeric in it. And it gives it almost like a spiciness to it that I really enjoy. And that has been really great in iced coffee as well. I don't have any right now because I ran out, but I will leave it here on the screen so that you know what I'm talking about. But it's really great if you see it in your store. Try it out, it's really great. So another thing I wanted to mention along the vein of coffee is I picked these up on Amazon. And so with these coffee bags like this, even though they have these things on them, I don't find that they stay closed well enough, and it's kind of a pain to open and close them. So I really like these because not only does the scoop work perfect, but then you can just kind of like obviously like do this, but then it holds your coffee closed. And then you have your scoop there on the coffee, and also it's holding your coffee closed. And I think the pack came with like 2 or 3 of these, so if you have 2 different kinds of coffee going, it works really great, because I know I at least have 1 more of these in the kitchen. But this has also been a favorite as well. The next thing that I want to mention has been an app called Mealime. So at the beginning of the whole pandemic, which I feel like I'm going to keep saying at the beginning of the pandemic, because a lot of this started then, and I feel like I had a huge lifestyle sort of change when all of that happened, because I did a lot more drinking coffee from home, and I did a lot more outdoor exercise and all of that stuff. So a lot of these favorites are stemming from the fact that 2020 has been completely different from previous years. But anyway, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was trying to figure out the whole grocery shopping situation. And I had already, back the November prior, I had already started using this app I'm about to talk about called Mealime. And I had already started using it, but I had also used it in conjunction with trying things like HelloFresh and Blue Apron and all those things. And I found that HelloFresh and Blue Apron and all that stuff, while they tout themselves as not being wasteful and just giving you the amount of food that you need, I found them to be very wasteful in the way of all of the packaging, because everything is individually packaged, and I didn't like that. And I had also tried a company called Misfit Market that would send you vegetables that didn't quite make it to the grocery store for one reason or another, and would have those shipped to you. And I actually absolutely loved that pre-pandemic. But for whatever reason, once the pandemic hit and people didn't want to go to the grocery stores, those sorts of subscription services ended up not working out for me, because the food in them started not being as fresh, and then also all of the waste. I just wasn't all about it. So the Misfit Market doesn't have waste. Misfit Market, just the food wasn't as fresh in it, but there was a lot of waste with like the other ones, if you know what I'm saying. So I started just using religiously Mealime. I use it for everything that I'm cooking. I currently have already gotten my groceries for it. I'll show you this week's selections and what I'll be cooking tonight. So last night I made this, if you see right here, the beef doner with cucumber, tomatoes, and yogurt sauce. That's what I had last night. And then tonight, we could have any of the other meals because I already have the groceries for them. But it'll probably, what am I in the mood for actually? You know what? These chicken and bell pepper fajitas with guacamole look good. So I'll probably make these tonight. I'll also insert like pictures of some of the meals and things I've made from them. And then also maybe like how I navigate the app and all that fun stuff across here. But I've been loving it. And I also pay for the app. So the app is actually free. But some of the recipes you can only get if you pay for the app. A lot of them are free though. And then also the cool thing about the app is if you do not want to leave your house to go get your groceries, you can actually just pick all the meals that you want. I feel like I should just do a full video on this, but so you go through and you pick all the meals that you want. It will make you a grocery list. You go through your pantry, you check off the stuff on that grocery list that you already have, and then you can send that grocery list to Instacart and you can have them deliver it to your home, which is really cool. Or you can just go like pick it up yourself. Most of the stuff on here I can pick up at Aldi, which again, Aldi is also through Instacart. You can have that, or you can set it up to where you do grocery pickup, which has been really convenient as well. And a lot of the times, I'm not gonna lie, I would sit there at work, I would do that, and then I would like put in the stuff for grocery pickup, and then I would go to the grocery store and get it. So I didn't even have to go and walk around the grocery store, and it worked awesome. So really loved that app, especially with everything going on this year. Also, I found that the recipes on there were absolutely delicious. And I also want to point out, I feel like I should just do a full video on this. If you want me to do a full video on this, let me know. But also on here, you can go into your settings and select your eating preferences. and just say like things that you dislike. So if you dislike mushrooms, they won't give you recipes with mushrooms. If you have allergies, you know, they won't give you anything with that. Also your menu type, I put classic because like I like everything, but if you're low carb, keto, flexitarian, which means like easy on the meat, paleo, vegetarian, pescatarian, vegan, you know, whatever, you can tell it what it is and it will only give you recipes that fit that eating type, which is awesome. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about are some podcasts that I've really been enjoying this year. So I am somebody who listens to podcasts all the time. And I feel like I may have mentioned these before. If not, sorry. But one that I know for a fact, I'm pretty sure that I discovered this year is Reply All. So I pretty much went back and I listened to everything from Reply All. And I don't know if, do they have like a synopsis how they describe their podcast that they would do a better job than like me describing it? Let me see. Okay, so this is what they have as their description, which is actually a review from The Guardian, and it just says a podcast about the internet that is actually an unfailingly original exploration of modern life and how to survive it. Hosted by PJ Vogt, Alex Goldman, and Emmanuel Zotzi, I don't know how to pronounce that, from Gimlet. So Emmanuel is actually a newer addition to the podcast. He's been on the last couple of episodes. But the cool thing about the podcast is if there's anything going on the internet that you need explaining, go to the podcast, they'll explain it. It's very entertaining. All kinds of cool stuff. And it looks like, okay, so currently right now, I haven't listened to this episode yet. It was posted January 14th, but they are going to talk about how President Trump was suspended from Twitter. So that will be a really good episode, but like everything about it is really great. I will put some of my favorite episodes below. There are so many really, really good episodes. And then the other ones that I feel like are just great, and a lot of these people, I feel like they run in the same circles. So I think that's why I like these podcasts. But the other one is Heavyweight. So Heavyweight is the best way, I guess, for me to describe it. I should just go on there and like see if they have a good description. It almost is like when people are having issues that they have a hard time resolving on their own. It's like they call that host and he does like a whole story about it and talks to them and resolve the issues. So like sometimes it's like family members haven't talked in a long time and he tells the story, but like he is kind of jaded. Like I just really, really like it. Let me see if he describes it better. Okay, here's what it says right here. Maybe you've laid awake imagining how it could have been, how it might yet be, but the moment to act was never right. Well, the moment is here, and the podcast making it happen is Heavyweight. Join Jonathan Goldstein for road trips, thorny reunions, and difficult conversations as he backpedals his way into the past like a therapist with a time machine, from Gimlet Media. Again, it's another Gimlet Media thing. So I really like NPR and Gimlet Media, but I'm all caught up on his podcast. They are great. And again, it looks like this one right here. And then the last one is obviously This American Life with Ira Glass. If you're familiar with NPR at all, you're familiar with that one. It's very, very good. And that one's just been an ongoing favorite of mine since college. I've listened to every single episode. I absolutely love it. I re-listen to episodes and I pick up on things that I didn't understand previously. I just absolutely love it. All right, so let's talk about YouTube for a second. So this year, I feel like I haven't found as many YouTubers as I wish I would have. And I feel like this should have been the year for like YouTube to like just really make it happen. And maybe I just am not watching the right people or finding the right people, and I've been searching and I'm just not finding it. So I don't know if the inspiration hasn't been out there for people or what's going on, but I'm just having a difficult time finding like people that I really connect with. So I have two people that I enjoy watching just based on the fact that I had to work out from home. And those people are Madfit and Natacha Oceane, which again, I'll have them linked below and like have some stuff here on the screen so you know who I'm talking about. And then one that I discovered who does not live too far away from me, and I've talked about her in previous scent videos, and that is Savor Salvage Scent. Her name is Amy, and she's lovely, and she describes scents, and she's such a positive, intelligent human being, and I just think she's wonderful, and I've really enjoyed her videos. And she doesn't edit her videos, and just the way she speaks just comes natural, and she's just so eloquent and just able to say what she's thinking without having to edit. Like, I'm so amazed by that. Like, that just to me is like amazing. I think there's something wrong in my brain to where I have to like edit things. So there's that, and then there's just kind of like the regular people that I enjoy watching that everybody watches, but I really enjoy watching Allana Davison, and I like watching Karima McKimmie, and I really like watching them because I feel like Allana Davison has more of like my clothing style that I wish that I had, and I feel like Karima McKimmie actually has my skin tone. So a lot of her suggestions I like to follow because she has my skin tone. And then their videos are just impeccable, and I really enjoy them, but I feel like everybody watches them. But those are the ones that I mainly like to watch for those particular reasons. All right, so if you came for beauty favorites, here we are. We're going to talk about beauty favorites. So I have everything written down here in my notebook, and if it's handy, I'm going to grab it and show it to you, and if it's not, I'll pop a picture up here on the screen. So the first thing I want to talk about are perfumes, because that is actually something I really got into this year, or last year, I guess, because we're into 2021 right now. But I really got into perfumes because, again, I was kind of getting tired of makeup. I had to wear a mask all the time anyway, so what was the point? So I feel like smelling a good scent is really uplifting anyway. So I just really got into it. And then also it was like really fun to do a lot of blind buying, and then like a nice pleasant surprise when you got something that actually smelled good to you. So one thing I want to talk about that is an overall favorite that I was really surprised by being a favorite were these perfume oils. And this is from a company called Perfumery. If you want, I'll do a full video on these. And I've featured them in like my August. I think I did a haul in August, and then I did another haul more recently. So it's only been since August for like half the year that I've really been enjoying these. But these, I find the smells last longer than my spray perfumes. And these all smell wonderful. So there's not one of these that I am not super impressed with. So these are just overall a favorite. I have a lot of really great scents in here. So I'm very happy with those. And then I want to talk about some scents that I wore all the time throughout the year, like to work, and just when I wanted to smell good and be uplifted. So again, I have tons of perfume. So the fact that I wore these a lot kind of says a lot. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is Replica by the Fireplace. This has been one of my go-tos throughout the year if I just want something to wear that would be like an easy go-to scent. This is just warm and inviting, not too feminine, but not too masculine. It just smells good. It smells confident to me. I just really love this scent. I like to wear it year round, but I think it's really great for, I would say, fall to winter. That's where I feel like I got the most use out of it. And then the next scent is Sarah Jessica Parker Stash. I have a couple of bottles of this. Oh my gosh. This again, is drier. It's not, this has more vanilla in it and is more like warm and inviting. And this to me is like woodier and a little drier of a scent. Not as like creamy or vanilla as the By the Fireplace. And I absolutely love this. And then the last scent is nothing like the other two. And as you can see, I've used it a ton. And the reason I've used this one so much is because this is a great scent for the summer, or if it's going to be hot, or even for the gym or for the office. And that's why I've used it so much. This is Acqua di Gioia by Giorgio Armani. Again, I have a couple of bottles of this, but oh my gosh. So this has lemon and mint and cedar, and then it's sweetened up a little bit with some brown sugar. It's got other notes in it as well. I'll have them on the screen. But this to me just smells, it smells good without being too feminine. And it's just pleasant. So I wear this one a lot if I'm in my army uniform. I also wear this. Again, I work in a gym. This was something that I wore a lot, you know, to the gym, and it just wears really well in the heat. And so, I mean, I've used a lot of it. So this is just a favorite for me for like everyday scent. And this one I find to not be very offensive at all. And even though it has lemon in it, it does not come across as a citrus scent. It's just really pretty. So I highly recommend this one if you're looking for something that is just an easy go-to to wear to the gym, to the office, or it wears nicely as well if like you're trying to dress. I wouldn't say this is like a little black dress sort of fragrance, but like I feel like it would even go okay if you are if you put on like a blazer and jeans, like, you know, you dress like that and you're going out with friends, like just a chic sort of scent. I don't know. I sometimes like think about scents and how they pair with outfits. So this one to me is very versatile. I have one skincare item that I want to mention, and it's just Differin Gel. And I've been using it now. I used it the entire year, and my skin is very breakout prone. And I don't know if you zoom in, well, that's a lot. Okay, so my skin is a little bit, I mean, I'm getting older. It's very breakout prone, very sensitive, can be very dry. And when I used the Differin Gel when I first got it, it did get a little bit dry, especially on my nose if I put it here and on my neck. But also my skin, I don't break out. I feel like my skin looks younger, and also I'm not getting breakouts. I think for me being in my mid to late 30s, my skin looks really nice. I mean, I feel like this ring light though is helping me out a little much. Let me turn it down for a second. Hold on. I think, is this a more honest depiction of my skin here? Okay, so like you can see, like I clearly still have pores and stuff, but like my skin, I feel like it looks really good. And so I've really paid attention to taking care of my skin a lot this year, and I feel like the Differin Gel just really did it. So I would say the Differin Gel and then a really good moisturizer is where it's at. So I'm just going to keep the light here for the rest of the video. Okay, so now I want to talk about like my makeup favorites throughout the year. And again, it comes down to like the whole wearing the mask thing and all of that. So my thing throughout the year is I did not want all of my makeup to rub off on a mask. So a lot of the time I would wear like a light tinted moisturizer or something like that. If anything, I didn't want to wear a heavy foundation because if it did rub off, I didn't want you to be able to tell that like it was like a different color. You know what I'm saying? So I wore very light coverage, if anything, on the skin. And then also when things would rub off, if you had like a really thick sort of bronzer, like you know how like a lot of bronzers kind of have coverage to them, you would like see that like, oh well, her bronzer's rubbed off and now it's like a completely different color there. So I was very cognizant of the fact that if it rubs off, my face is gonna look really crazy. So this year, my makeup favorites is based around makeup I wear for masks. If you want me to do a whole video, which I kind of already have one planned anyway, but maybe I'll just kind of speed it along and move it up. If you want me to do a video for makeup for masks, let me know. I actually just got back from the dentist today because or orthodontist, because I broke my wire out of my braces and they had to put it back in. And so he's like, this makeup has been on, well, he's like been on my face, digging around my mouth, and I had to wear a mask. So, like, you know, it still looks good. So anyway, I'm just going to tell you the stuff that I used every single day. And unfortunately, I think some of this stuff has been discontinued, which is a bummer. So anyway, I'm just going to jump into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is, which I have my everyday makeup bag here. Again, if that's something you guys want to see, let me know. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is this. It is the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation. So this is what I have on my face today. I like this. Any super light coverage foundation would work, but this is just has been my go-to. I'm pretty sure this is the lightest shade in Ivory, and that's what I have. So if you're any lighter than me, I mean, I guess that's unfortunate because I don't feel like I'm super light. Like, I mean, that's kind of crazy, right? The Anastasia Brow Gel, the Clear Brow Gel. I wish that I could find something as good as this for cheaper, because this is kind of expensive for a clear brow gel, but I wear this every single day. The other thing is the Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage. So here's mine. I moved it to this pot. As you can see, I still have like the duo, like it's a little duo situation. I don't know if you can see that it's two different colors in here. Yeah, you can. But I will show you. They discontinued this, which is really annoying. But when I found out that they discontinued it, I did hurry up and go purchase a new one, but I'm trying to use up the other one. So here's the new one, as you can see, like brand new. But I did scrape it off so it would be smaller because the packaging, like always broke on this. So like right back here, Laura Mercier's packaging, I don't know what the deal is. I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. You pay a lot of money for their makeup and a lot of times their packaging sucks, but it would always break here and then my lid was loose. So I scraped it out of there and then stuck it in this. And this is an old concealer pot from a brand that again is discontinued, no longer exists. But I just stuck the two different colored sides in here and I've been digging from it in there. But I also paid a ton of money for the matte Laura Mercier Caviar sticks when they had the matte shades, and the lids on those cracked and broke and then they started to dry out. So then I like mixed them together with a discontinued paint pot called Indian Wood by MAC and kind of like made my own little Frankenstein shade here. This isn't like part of the favorites, but just again, I paid so much money on Laura Mercier makeup and then like their packaging, like what gives? Anyway, so then another favorite has been this Beauty Pie Triple Beauty Liquid Luminizer in Golden Whirl. This one's almost out, but this just makes my skin look like super, super, super healthy skin. So the cool thing is, like, if I am wearing a mask, the mask comes like this where it doesn't touch, and I only make sure to kind of like put it here. I don't like put it down here on the cheek if I am wearing the mask. Okay, another thing that's been discontinued that I'm super annoyed about, which is a favorite, are Burberry eyeshadows. So again, I paid a ton of money for these, like over $30 an eyeshadow, right? And I love them. Like I have a whole other drawer full of them. These are my current shades that I'm wearing right now. I actually have a lot of them on my eyes now, but love them. So this shade right here is in Gold Trench. Love it. This one is in the Earthy Blush, which I did buy like a larger one. So this still exists, but here's the smaller one, like in an eyeshadow container. It still exists in the blush form, so you can still buy it from the Burberry site. This is in Pale Barley. I have the older version and the newer version. The newer version was, they changed the color up on it, but this is the older version, which I prefer the color of. But then, again, they got rid of the newer one too. These single shadows are where it's at. And then this shade is their shade in Chestnut. And then this one in Shell, which is like an eyeshadow topper. Like, look at that. It's beautiful. And I have that on my inner corner right now. So here's the thing. I don't know why they got rid of those. They still do have their palettes. This was a limited edition one. And the gold, it was like a holiday one. They still have their palettes that are in this format. But I find that the individual quality of the individual shades were way better. I don't know why they got rid of them. But anyway, so then this is also a favorite. This is the Super Shock Cheek, and I think this is supposed to be a highlighter. And this is the shade Might Be, but I don't use it as a highlighter. I use this as an eyeshadow topper. So I just get a little bit of it like that and then just pop it right on the center, and it gives my eyeshadow kind of like a wet look. Look at that. Oh, it's pretty. Another favorite of mine has been using just pretty much, which I've been doing this for years, but I don't wear a ton of eyeshadow. As you can see, like, my eyeshadow isn't too heavy. It's not too dark. I don't feel like I look right. And then my face looks unbalanced if I have a really heavy eye. I cannot do the Instagram makeup with like the heavy eye makeup, the eyeliner. It does not look right on me. I don't feel comfortable doing it. So I have always, like, whatever bronzer I use on my face, I also just kind of use that, like, dust it over my eye as well. Two of the current bronzers that I have been using mostly throughout the year. One, I've just been trying to use it up, but I've been liking it because I like the tone. This is actually Benefit Hoola, and I stuck it in this with a magnetic pan because the Hoola box was like really big and you couldn't get anything down in it. So I stuck it in this, and now it's a huge mess. I'm trying to use it up. So I've been using that up. I really like the tone of it, but I will say if I am going to wear a mask, because this has coverage like I mentioned before. So if I'm gonna wear a mask, or if I'm afraid of like sweating, like, so say I was like gonna go on a bike ride or go to the gym, I wouldn't wear this, because if you sweat and you start to sweat this off, your coverage is gone on this. But if you wear this right here, which this is NARS Laguna, but this is the version like this. It's like the one with the harder sort of pan. This one kind of melds in with the skin, and it doesn't do that. It just looks like skin. So I will actually put this on like just plain skin to kind of bronze up like my pale face, even when I'm not wearing anything, or just like a light tinted moisturizer. And this looks awesome. Highly suggest it, and it looks beautiful on the eyes too. Again, it doesn't look powdery. It just gives you like a tint, and your eyes still have like the natural oil sort of like glisten to them if you have nothing else on it. This is great. And that's a favorite as far as the formula goes for mask wearing. I have several different shades of that. Yeah, here it is in Seaside, and I've worn it quite a bit this year. Like, just for comparison, this is Laguna in the other formula, and as you can see, it like has more coverage, and it's not the same. Like, see that? Like, it's just not the same. This is a beautiful one if like you're not going to be sweating, but the minute you start sweating, it just like comes right off your face. Oh yeah, and then here's this darker one, like super dark, and this is the shade Fallacies. Good stuff. So like I mentioned, I don't like to wear a ton of eyeshadow. Like, this is about as like crazy as I get on my eyes. And if I'm really wanting like a really bright sort of eye, I just dust this eyeshadow all over my eye, and this is by Marc Jacobs. and this is their Omega Shadow, and this is the shade Primo. Actually, this isn't the one. This is the one I highlight with. So Primo's the one I like to highlight with the inner corner. Put it back there. But the formula of these shadows is beautiful. That's Primo. So the other one must be, I'm like just digging out of my everyday makeup bag. This one's Perfecto. So Perfecto is the one that I just dust all over to brighten up my eye. And to me, this isn't completely matte or chalky. It's got a quality in it that almost seems like satin or pearlized that's in this matte shadow. And it just really brightens up, if you see there, it just really brightens up the eye without looking like too matte. So this is one that I just like to dust all over if I just want to brighten up the area. It's a gorgeous shade if you're pale like me. So if you're deeper, that obviously isn't going to work the same for you, but they have other shades in that formula. So the other shades in that formula, if you're deeper, that may work for you is I have this one in the big O. So if like you're more tan, this is Daddy-O. And then I think this one, yeah, this one would be a beautiful highlighter along the same lines for the one that I use currently as a highlighter. But yeah, so if you're deeper, I would maybe try these out. But for the pale gals, for the same purpose of just like brightening up the eye, if you don't want to have like heavy eyeshadow on, those are great. Okay, so then back to the whole mask wearing business. So this is something I've talked about a lot, and this is the One Powder Wonder from Beauty Pie. So I like to use this under my eyes to kind of set concealer in place if I am working with a really emollient concealer. But then also this is great all over the face, and it just kind of gives you a slide all over the face, and your makeup will not come off with the mask. And it stays, but it also doesn't make your makeup too matte. So if you notice, my face is a little bit shiny now because I didn't really powder today. So let's get back here. Let me get some of this on here. This is a Laura Mercier finishing. Look, my forehead's really shiny too. Yeah, and it still is like, it didn't mattify my face, but like it smoothed out to where I wouldn't worry about putting a mask on and like having a mask like stick to my skin, if that makes sense, because I use a lot of moisturizing products a lot of the time. All right, and then I don't know if they still have these in stores, if they were limited edition, what the deal is, but Pixi made some really great highlighters, and I have used these bad boys non-stop over the year. I've got Subtle Sunrise and I've got Delicate Dew. So when I bought them, I thought Delicate Dew was going to be my jam, which it was. Like, it's the lighter one. But let me tell you, Subtle Sunrise, the darker, like the darkest one right here, like this peachy one, that has been my jam. So it looks really dark. Like, I don't know how. Yeah, when I turn that way, it looks kind of dark. I take it a little bit lower and put it over whatever blush I'm wearing, and it does a great job. Also, in this one, if I want to go a little bit higher, I do use the Delicate Dew a little bit higher. But these don't accentuate any texture, and they don't look glittery. Like, I mean, I have swatches all over, but it's right here. Look at that. They don't look glittery. They're beautiful. And then if I'm really wanting to, I'm wearing this today, which you can't really see anything. Like, maybe you can, I don't know. I'm wearing this one today, and this is by Wet n Wild, right there, over my blush. It's pretty. It's very pretty. This is the Hello Halo Blush Lighter, and it's in Highlight Bling. I don't really use this side a whole lot, which is the actual highlight side. I mean, that's just a little too much for me. Yeah, that's way too much for me. But those are really inexpensive and very beautiful. Like, all right, so then I also want to talk about these, and they're kind of along the same vein as the Wet n Wild thing here, which is kind of like that bright peach sort of colored highlight. I don't know why I have to like pull it back here. Obviously my lighting is still a bit, you know what? It's that bulb right there. Hold on a second. Along the same vein as the Wet n Wild, I wanted to talk about these Cover FX blushes. I bought quite a few. They also had the bronzers as well. I do have the bronzer. I like the bronzer, but really the blushes are what did it for me. And so I'll just kind of show them to you. I have 4 of the shades. I have Warm Honey, Soft Peach, Mojave Mauve, and Pink Dahlia. So as you can see, I really, more than anything, just enjoyed the highlighty like blush toppers in them. I would like, a lot of the times I would use another blush or a cream blush elsewhere in my collection, and then I would hop into these and then just use these highlighty sort of blush toppers on top of them. I really liked them. I just really think they're beautiful. Like, I really went to town with the Mojave Mauve one, like this year. Look how pretty that is. So I didn't use the blush portion a whole lot at all. I just used the other one, which it's pretty, but I mean, 2 more makeup things I want to talk about and then I'm actually all done. So these Natacha Oceane palettes. So I purchased these larger ones and I've hardly gotten any use out of them. I mean, they're pretty, but I haven't used them hardly at all. And maybe I should dig into them and give them a try and use them a little bit more. But like, these have been where it's at. So as you can see, I've like really made a dent in them, and especially even in that red or that dark blush in here. As you can see, I've really gotten in these. I use all of these colors. This the least, but I've made quite the dent in it still. And this whole thing, it gives me like the most beautiful glow, and I use it at the same time as the tan one. And with the tan one, I use these on my cheeks and my eyes, and this right here along the lid as a cream shadow. Oh, it's beautiful. And this gives just like the most like bronzy, beautiful look. Like these two together, I could do my whole face just with these 2 palettes. Like, they're beautiful. So maybe I will force myself and try to play around with these other ones, but I feel like, yeah, they're like, these smaller ones are where it's at. And then the last thing I want to mention is a lip product, and it's the Jack Black Basil Lemon. Well, this one's the Basil Lemon. I don't care what flavor it is, to be honest with you. I have these in my purse. I have them in my car. I have them in my work bag. I have them in my army bag. I have these everywhere. The reason I like these is because they have SPF in them, and it's just like a good go-to lip balm. But this is the best lip balm like for out in the world every day. My nighttime lip balm isn't this one, but I really worry about the SPF and like not getting it on my lips, and this is great to have like an SPF on your lips. But anyway, those are my favorites for 2020. Let me know below what your favorites are, if you feel like I missed anything. I feel like today I kind of went around and I gathered up some of my favorites. It was really hard to just like think about everything that was my favorite throughout the year. But those are the things I think I truly used throughout the year. I think this year I am going to do a favorites video each month, and maybe kind of keep track of my favorite things throughout the year, so that next year I have a more comprehensive, cohesive sort of video to present to you. And And if you want to see what I'm up to, please follow me on all my socials. And I think that's it. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.